All right, welcome back. How to stay in business. That is the trick to everything if you're an entrepreneur. The main problem we have is people work in big corporations that have tens of millions, hundreds of millions, billions in turnover. And for them, the cost base becomes inconsequential. In a small business, a startup, your cost base is not inconsequential. It's a huge factor. And people often start business from a big corporation stance, and they replicate what they've experienced in the big corporate into the small one. And that cost base is huge. And it's not sustainable. So you have to have a completely different mentality. If you've started the business, you don't have significant funding. We're talking millions. Don't say like 50,000 is significant funding. If you're bootstrapping is where you've self-funded effectively the business. You borrowed maybe some money off mom, dad, friends, family, your own savings to start your business. And my biggest tip is, when you're going to make a purchase, do I really need this? Does this add to the bottom line? Can I avoid it? And we'll go through some examples. So don't blow the money you have. So let's go through it. First thing is for example, our business, e-commerce. Guess how many Gmail accounts we had? You'll never guess. For 10 years, we operated a multi-million pound e-commerce business with a single inbox, a single Gmail account. We could have had sales at, info at, customer service at, accounts at, you name it. That's how you blow money, and that's the wrong approach. We had hundreds of products leaving per day, lots of customer service emails, lots of account queries, lots of everything. And I subscribed us to one Gmail account. I say Gmail because it's very effective. It does the job. And the hack that I used to have only a single Gmail account to save money was a filter system. Each person in the team had their own unique name. And when they signed off with that name, any reply where that name was in the body of the text, I set up the filters so it would go straight to a folder that I created for them. So in effect, everyone in the business had their own inbox, even though it was led by a single email account. That lasted and that worked, and we could have gone on growing with no problem at all with a single Gmail account. That's how you don't blow money. And obviously with Gmail comes all the free Google stuff. So Google Sheets, Google Docs, Notes, the Google Business Portal, Google Merchant Center, all from that one email. And then anything there was nothing really. I was always very open about invoicing and all this kind of stuff and the finances. There was no need to have like secretive emails. Anything that was a little bit sensitive, maybe someone's payroll and so on, that always went to my own personal email account. So no problem. You can operate a business with that single email account, even down to customer service. Again, the customer service operatives had their own unique sign-offs, and the filter system meant that any email from customer service for a customer service agent skipped the inbox and went straight to their folder. And that was their inbox, I hope I've been clear on how that works. It's a simple filter system. You go to settings in Gmail, set up your filters, and everything works beautifully. You've got Google Drive for cloud storage. We also use Dropbox, very cheap. Everything just into the cloud. Don't print everything out. Ink is £80 a cartridge. Yeah, you need a printer for some essential items that needs to be printed out. For example, our e-commerce pick and pack notes need to be printed because they needed to go to the warehouse with the courier label in our circumstances. And yeah, we needed that one bit of paperwork. But generally, everything into the cloud, everything's saved down. That also means you don't have to worry about, storing all this paperwork, all this nonsense. Everything now should be in the cloud. As soon as the document comes in, if it's on paper via the post, scan it, in you go. So that meant we had a very basic printer. Did not fall into the trap of buying a printer with color. It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen anyone do. You need a super simple black laser, holds, a deck of paper like that, and just spits it out. And hopefully the cartridges aren't too much. Systems. Oh, this is where someone gets your pants and pulls them down. Let me explain. So my business partner was forever trying to get us to get the barcode scanner sync to stock management, sync to backend, sync to website. We had more than 10,000 SKUs and we never had a warehouse barcode scanner system. With every delivery comes a delivery note and you sent in the order. We used Excel for everything. Sorry, not even Excel. Don't even buy Microsoft Office. You don't need it. Google gives you, with your Google account, Google Sheets, which is an exact replica of Microsoft Office. Google Sheets, Google Docs, all the stuff. Forget Microsoft Office, dead. Bill Gates got enough money. So just with a little bit of savvy Excel work, we had the order we'd put in. We had the delivery note of what had come in. We could then, if something hadn't come in, we'd delete it. And then we'd just simply update our own stock via CSV upload into the back end of our website. And that would update our stock. And it was the same for placing our orders. We took a download of the rate of sale, how many stock we had, and it computed how many we would need between now and our next delivery. Really simple stuff, all in Excel. Now, you may think, need this bit of software for $500 a month, need a bit of that software, need this software. You need nothing. As from a finance background, every company I worked for, everything was in Excel, or now Google Sheets. The entire banking world runs on Excel. And I'm not kidding. There's no fancy built software. There's no literally billions of dollars and pounds is all kept in Google Sheets, saved down on a daily basis because they run them each day, save them back down with like the new interest rate or the new exchange rate or whatever it is. They update them each day, save them back down, and then that creates the report that feeds into the daily P&L for the bank or the hedge fund, and that it's literally an Excel sheet. You wouldn't believe it. Well, I'm telling you, but you won't believe me. There's no fancy software. There's no nothing. It's just Excel sheets, all just working together to feed into one big master Excel sheet. And that's how even the biggest companies in the world do their reporting. So don't fall for like a fancy stock management system that's $500 a month. Don't fall for MailChimp. Just save down your addresses and just use your Gmail. It can grow larger than you can grow. So just be really careful what you sign up to. So I've said things like, you don't need MailChimp. It's so expensive, it's insane. You don't need Trustpilot. It's so expensive, it's insane. For your bookkeeping, there's things like Receipt Bank where you just upload a document and it auto processes for you. We tried it for about 3 months because my bookkeeper wanted to do it. It's the worst decision we ever made because it was heinous at doing the job effectively. Everything it had done, we had to undo with another bookkeeper because it hadn't read the invoices correctly. Every company has a different structure to the invoice, and you want to pick the total and the VAT and whatever bits of the detail. It just has to be done manually because every invoice is different. And Receipt Bank, hats off, they're trying, but do not pay, do not subscribe to that. Your bookkeeping is so vital. It has to be a one-for-one human operation at this stage because the Receipt Bank, I'll call it AI, is not up to scratch. It is nowhere near good enough. And I can't press on you how important it is that your bookkeeper is your best worker in your office. They have to be so accurate and so precise and so methodical that I'm actually going to do a whole video just on how important your bookkeeper is. So avoid things like Receipt Bank. It's absolute nonsense. Trustpilot, for example, I said don't subscribe to because they were one of the first to market, and they've tried to build their brand, the Trustpilot name. I understand. But if you're a small company, it's way too expensive. Google Reviews is free. And you even get that little box in the bottom right corner that gives you like a 4.9 out of 5 score. Google Reviews, cost 0. I mean, can I say anything else? Loads of companies sign up to Zendesk to handle their aftercare. We had, as I said, we sold hundreds of products, lots of aftercare needs to be done, all just via Gmail. There's no need for this Zendesk nonsense. Just pick location. Again, a hack, how to stay in business. We would never, you don't want to put products next to each other that are related. You want it to be, for your pickers, you want a pushchair to be next to a car seat, to be next to a blanket, to be next to a high chair, to be next to another car seat. You want random allocation in your warehouse. Weirdly, your warehouse man will no doubt want to put all the same products together. It's completely the wrong thing and you can't let them do it. It must be a random assortment in your warehouse. Don't put the 8mm bolts next to the 10mm bolts. They will mispick. And the way we reacted to a mispick, so think about it. The impact is huge for a mispick, especially in the e-commerce business. Wrong product goes out, so you've wasted time on the pick and pack, time and money. You've wasted a courier label. You've now got an angry customer, so your rating goes down. You have an angry customer. You have to arrange the collection. You have to then re-deliver the correct product if the customer doesn't want a refund. So the cost of a mispick is not just that courier label of the product coming back. It's the knock-on effect is huge. So we made a real point of having random allocation of products around the warehouse, and we kept a tally of the mispick. We made a competitive element to the office. More so than any other errors, your mispick rate was like a defining moment. And we saw over the years a gradual decline because every time there's a mispick, we also, every single time, made a movement of that product in the warehouse. Why was it mispicked? And sometimes it's down to the barcode. Say it's 688. And then the barcode next to it is 5688. So we moved the 688, one of the 688s, to a completely different location. So always, on a single mistake, make a proactive change, either to the way you pick, either to the way the warehouse is located. We did things like, often the quantity is missed. So they want 2, and let's say 100 orders, they want a single quantity. And then suddenly an order wants 2. It's really easy to miss the quantity. So everyone had to mark off on the pick sheet the quantity, the barcode, the name, and the address to make a conscious, rather than no mark at all. It was like, yes, I've checked that. Yes, I've checked quantity. Yes, I've checked the product. Yes, I've checked the person, and that the courier label is that person. Small things like that made a big impact. We also encourage people not to talk when they're picking. So we'd try and move people around the warehouse so that they weren't always in the same place. Because, once you're into the day, oh, how's your evening? How's this? How's that? And it's a distraction. You make mistakes. So it was unfortunate, but you actually have to concentrate when you pick in a warehouse environment, and you can apply this to any work whatsoever. Then you need to concentrate. So arrange the desks so they can't just sit there and chat, either side. Have them face a different angle and face away so that everyone has their working space and they're not easily talking to. We had, for example, 3 people next to each other. It was just 2 with the gap. We slotted in a person between them because we needed the space. And suddenly they had just talked constantly. It was such a bad move on my part, such a big mistake. So locate the chairs, locate the desks in a way that they can't just sit there nattering, because they will. So be real careful what you spend your money on. Example of this, in the warehouse, we needed some form of racking to get, if you have a bare room, if you just put everything on the floor, you're taking no vertical space. So I bought scaffold boards and made trestles to create a second level. If you were from a fancy multi-million corporation, you'd have bought racking, really expensive metal racking. And just the cost of that was too prohibitive. I figured that a scaffold board, around 10 to 15 pounds for each board, and the trestles, 1, the scaffold boards would keep their value, and 2, the trestles could be built just out of 2x4, which was relatively cheap at the time. That was a way cheaper solution than metal racking that would cost hundreds of pounds per unit. And even though, it looked a bit startup-y, during those early days, it saved a huge amount of money. There's so many examples I can give you about where not to blow money. Office chairs. I bought, I think, the IKEA black office chair, like 50 quid, maybe. You can spend £200 on an office chair, or you can spend 50 quid. They need to be just comfortable enough. All our office desks were IKEA, £12 a time. I bought the colour that was so bad, it was cheap. If that makes sense. So our tables are white with pink legs. I think they were so unpopular that the IKEA had to make them the cheapest tables and chairs. Where else? Oh, monitors for computers. Just buy second-hand A-grade 19-inch Dells. You don't need fancy monitors like new. It's complete waste. Computers, just go average. Like £500 for a box is powerful enough. It's got enough memory. It's got enough RAM. You don't need a state-of-the-art machine. Top range, because top end is always more expensive. Our forklift, second hand. Our tape machines. To begin with, in the warehouse, we got just the simple 3M tape. And in the end, we ended up with the paper tape you get. So Amazon, interestingly, they seem to have changed quite a lot. They used to get a box where you had that sticky tape round, paper tape. And now you'll notice that all the boxes are like self-seal. So incremental changes, and now the boxes that they send, they used to be sturdy. Now they're like one sheet thick, or they're just bags. That's all deliberate on Amazon's part to save money, because they realized a box is a single use, and it's just going to go in the bin. So all you got to do is get the product to the customer. There's no need to send them a fancy box. I'll try and touch on some more things to save money on. Cloud. Use the cloud, so Dropbox, Google Drive. Don't use any systems until you absolutely have to. Don't pay for any software until you absolutely have to. I'm going to come back to 10x. Procedures. So how to stay in business. When someone doesn't turn up for work, once there's a job that's consistent in nature, so normally what I did the job and then I got it down to just a methodical procedure. So I would then write on paper what the methodical steps were for that procedure. And as soon as you figured it out, you hand it off to someone else. And on paper, you write down a procedure so that, let's say the person that has taken on the role hasn't come in that day or just not turned up or whatever, someone else can pick up that paper note and follow a step-for-step guide of how to finish that task. So don't do descriptive passages. Screenshot what you click and where. Because let's face it, pretty much every computer job is a what do you click and where and what do you fill in. So just screenshot each step as you go through it and put it on a Google Doc. Really important that everyone creates a procedure for all the tasks they do, so that if you ever get rid of them, or they don't turn up, or they're ill, someone else can just grab that procedure and perform the task. 10x, how to stay in business. Now this is going to sound weird, because maybe you'd think, oh, I need someone to work for me and they're going to do this job. Correct. What you really want is, I need someone to work for me. So you're starting out, employee number 4. I need someone to work for me and they need to do this task. It was my objective to have that person do 10 tasks. So you'd write the procedure, you'd have something down pat. Sorry if that's not like good slang in your language. They perform that task and then they perform 10 other tasks. I picked 10 just as a random number. You want someone that can chew up their normal job and then knock out 2 or 3 others in a day. That is how you stay in business. You get the best staff you can possibly get. You create a team of 10Xers, a team of, I was very fortunate. By the end of this business, I had a team of 10Xers. They all jumped over each other's work. They all knew what each other was doing. They could all do each other's roles. Sometimes they did. Sometimes they're like, oh, I've done my task. What should I do now? That is the 10Xer. If you have someone that just does their task, you need to get rid of them, because that's not enough. You need someone that does not only their job, but other people's jobs too, and wants to do them, wants to grow, wants to take on other roles. What's she doing? Can I do that? What's he doing? Can I learn how to do that? What if they're away? You want people like that, literally grab gold dust. They're your 10Xers. And they're the best characters as well. They're the best personalities. I can't explain how important 10Xers are, bookkeepers are, and how important it is to not blow money if you want to stay in business. That's it.